My name is Sipenati Sam Mzingelwa. Let me tell you my story. It was on a Friday, October 2018. From going to a normal clinic consultation because I thought I had piles, only to find out that I'm gonna hear the biggest news of my life. I remember correctly, I had booked myself off on that Friday because throughout the week at work I was not feeling well because I thought I had piles at that time. So I booked myself off on this Friday because I wanted to go to the clinic to go and consult with a nurse or a doctor regarding my condition, and I wanted to get some pills that was gonna help me because the pain was so unbearable at that point in time. I checked myself in as like a casual person who's coming for a consultation. Eventually the sister did call me. I went inside, and after she has inspected me and checked what was wrong with me, she then asked me if she can accompany me to go to another room. In my mind, I'm asking myself what is happening at this point in time because I just came here for like a normal consultation. Why is she then not giving me pills, rather taking me to another room? And as we were on our way, I see the room that she's taking me. So I'm like, okay, what is going on at this point in time? I'm not trying to think a lot about it. I'm like, okay, let's go in. We go in, and then she asks this guy to do some tests. And then she leaves me. And then she said, okay, I'm going to go back to her. She leaves me there, and then this guy started to prep his table and taking my folder and everything, and then he started to have like those counseling sessions. And in my mind I'm like, I went through this 2 years ago because the last time that I tested was 2 years ago when I was going to initiation school, and it came out negative. So in my mind I'm like, what has changed? Why is this nurse taking me to this same room that I was at 2 years ago? I got tested eventually. So as we were waiting for the results, we're having like a mini conversation about it. I think I was trying to get like the level of understanding on where I was at that point. But fortunate enough, I was reading about it quite a lot on socials and all of that. It was not like I was ignorant, but it was that point I never thought it was going to happen to me. I guess I was still a child. I was still 20 years old that year. So he was busy, and then the first one came out and it showed positive. I didn't want to believe it. And then he asked, okay, let's do another one. And then we do, and then the second one came back and it showed the same results. At that point in time, I felt like, okay, what is happening? I'm trying to understand what is happening. I've got like this mixed emotions. I'm a 20-year-old. I'm already thinking, okay, my life is over. What is gonna happen despite the information that I had before? So I'm like, okay, this is happening to me now. So he tried to speak to me. He tried to talk about things just to bring some light into my life, telling me that no, this is not a life sentence. You're gonna be fine as long as if you continue to take your meds and all of that. But then at that point I could hear, yes, he was sincere and he was trying to bring life into me again, because for a few seconds I felt like I was just like gone. And he tried to bring life into me, and I was like, okay, it's fine. At that point, okay, I'm already thinking, am I gonna go back home to face my family, or what am I gonna do? So I immediately thought, okay, let me just call my friend. I called my friend Usiziwe, and then I asked her, are you home? and she was like, yes friend, I'm home. I was like, okay cool, I'm coming. So I immediately after my appointment, I went to her, and when I got there, I was a bit offish because obviously I've just had the biggest news of my life that can change my life. And I'm like, hey Aisana, what is going on? And she could see and she could sense that it was not okay. Even though she was trying to talk, she made me food and she was just trying to cheer me up. But I'm like, okay, I need to tell her at least so that I can feel like light about this, because I feel like it's quite heavy on my shoulders at that point. And for a good 4 to 5 hours we were chilling together. I did not say anything about what I've just heard because I'm still in my head at that point, and I'm trying to figure out what my next move is gonna be. I'm trying to figure out, okay, if I go home, how am I gonna react? Are they gonna see through me? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen with my life? Is this gonna be the end of my life? Ingabe yonke into that I've wanted ebomini bam, is this gonna be the end of it actually? Eventually, she accompanied me to go home. So thinking about it, while we were on our way, we stopped and I told her, listen, can we just stop here? There's something that I want to tell you. Remember 2 years back, I was standing in that same spot and I disclosed about my sexuality to her as my best friend. And now 2 years later, I'm standing in the same spot and I'm disclosing about my status to her. It took me a couple of minutes to do it because it felt right at that point, because I felt like if I'm not going to tell anyone, I'm going to do something stupid. If I'm not going to tell anyone, I don't know what's going to be of me. I was like, okay, let me rather take off the big burden that I feel on my shoulders and tell my friend at least, so that I feel like, okay, I'm not going through this alone. After I told her, it got so emotional. It got so emotional because we were crying about it. She was trying to speak life into it. She was trying to motivate me as a friend. She was trying to tell me that she's going to be there with me throughout this journey. And I remember us having like a very tight hug after that. And she promised me that I'm going to be okay. Although I believed her, but at some point I kept on going back onto what's going to happen with me now. Are things going to change? That I've always dreamt of, is this gonna be the end of it? We understand that because about the stigma that goes on about this, about the things that we read on social media about this, and I'm like, kuzokwenzeka ntoni ngoku ngobomi bam, uyabo? But I got home, because I had a bungalow, a windy house outside. I went to my granny's bed and I chilled there for like a couple of hours. I took a nap because I felt like if I was gonna be alone in my room and then I'm gonna do something stupid, so let me rather go inside and go into my granny's bed. And then I slept there for like a couple of hours. I woke up, but because it felt like it was a dream, I couldn't believe it myself. So when I woke up, I was like, hey, Anna man, this is reality, you understand? And at that point, I'm like, this is still new. Should I share it with my family or should I not? There was a lot going on in my mind, and I'm sitting in that room, and what I was doing, I was crying, I was eating, I was chilling in bed basically for the whole weekend, because I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to do anything rather than sleeping, eating, sleeping, eating. So I think the following year, which was 2019, beginning of 2019, I was able to get myself another job, a stable job that had like giving me like a very decent amount of money. I then came to a decision of wanting to go and rent a place out, because I felt like it was too much, because I was at the point where I even have to take my pills. I'm hiding it away because I don't want anyone to see it, and I don't want to be asked any questions at that point. So I thought maybe me moving out, it's gonna help me. Maybe me moving out, it's gonna give me that freedom that I want. Maybe me moving out when I'm going through the side effects or losing weight or doing this, because there's this stigma about it, then I don't want to be in front of my family, because I don't want them to see me in that state. So I ended up making a decision on my 21st. I was like, I'm moving out. I then moved out, still around Stellenbosch, stayed there for a couple of months. And I was trying to process all of this. I was blaming the guy that I was last with. I was like blaming each and every person, because it felt right at that point, but forgetting to take accountability as well as Uspenati, and saying, Sam, you also need to take accountability and responsibility of your actions as well. So I think that took me a couple of years, 2 years, 3 years, to be able to be in a state where I'm like, okay, now I need to stop blaming other people, but I also need to take responsibility and accountability as well of my actions at that time. So I think after I've done that, I was able to accept myself the way that I was, accept my new reality as well, because I then started to share with not a lot of people, but people that was close to me. I felt like, okay, the time was right. And over the past 5 years, that's what I've been doing, because I felt like, okay, I'm at the point where I'm able to speak about it, but also at the point of me healing from that. And for me to be able to even do this video, I think it's also part of me healing. It is part of me saying that it is okay, because I'm okay at this point in time in my life. I am doing everything that I was required to do. I am taking my meds. I am living my best life, actually, because I think it has taught me quite a lot. It has grown me quite a lot. I had to grow up like at a very young age and learn how to be independent, learn how to trust myself with my own decisions. This time in my life, I think I am learning to be there for myself. I've decided that this year I'm gonna disclose about it, because there's a lot of us that is dying inside, and I feel like this message, maybe people that have seen me living my best life and all of that, maybe they can be able to take inspiration as well, to see that if Sam has gone through all of this for quite some time, which means if I'm also in a state where Sam is at, then I'm also going to be able to live my life positively as well. So I think this is me saying that I am starting to be there for myself. This is me putting myself first. This is me freeing myself from things that I thought that was holding me back from the past few years. And I'm ready to open a new chapter of my life. And I know maybe it's not gonna come as easy, but I think, or actually rather, I'm at the point where I am comfortable with myself. I am in a process of forgiving myself from all the things that I've done and trying to look forward to what the future holds for me as a young queer guy in South Africa. This is me trying to show you and to tell you that it is okay. I know it can be very difficult when you don't have a support structure or people that's going to be there for you. Maybe your situation might be different from what I've been through, but I want to tell you that it is okay. It's not a life sentence or whatever that you might want to call it, but if you start seeing it from a different perspective, there is life on it. And I think I've proven that to myself over the past 5 years, that there is life after you found out that you are living with HIV. I want people to know that it is okay and you are not alone. My name is Sipenati Sam Mzingelwa, and this is my story.